to open it up.
You want to do it?
Yeah, you can do it. Hey everyone, welcome to Wind Down with the Waibels. We're starting a YouTube channel to talk to you all about what we have going on in our lives and to share a lot of our stories and also to save them for our children so that they can look back on them and that we can all look back on them as a family to really process share what we're processing through as we go through each journey that we're on within our lives. So we're thankful that you're here to watch our video and just excited about having the opportunity to do this and thankful for technology. And yeah, this is very different for us, and so it will be a learning experience, and we're hopeful that you all will enjoy all the things that we can share with you and just get a little glimpse into the way we think about life, the way we try to navigate different things, and hopefully it can help you in your journey and with your family as well.
I think another reason why we wanted to start a YouTube video is we're on our own search for clarity. And so when we have to stop, and we have to process and think about the things that we've done, whether it be, this past week or last year, and it helps us to kind of see where we're headed, if we like where we're headed, why we're doing it, and maybe redirect or find a purpose in those things. And then also, whether we're talking about things that happened this week or a year ago, just how we're going to process those differently and see how they've had an impact on our lives, hopefully for the better.
Yeah, so we hope to share little glimpses of where we've been throughout our time in each week, but also even things that are further back in our story as well. So each week will be probably a little bit different, but we're hopeful to produce videos on a weekly basis to have conversations really and develop our relationship, our family's relationship, and again, just give you guys a peek inside as to what we're doing and how we think we're navigating this.
And I also want to point out that I think it's cool that we're doing this on our Shabbat, because that's kind of a time for us to reflect on what we've done normally over just the past week, but it's also a time where we are intentionally going slow. So we are hoping that this isn't going to be something that adds a lot of workload to us, but rather it is that time of reflection. And actually we're doing this after our kids are asleep, just kind of processing. And I think that's why we want to call this Wind Down with the Waibels, because we are taking it as kind of a regrouping or something that can add purpose, maybe?
Yeah, for sure.
On that?
Yeah, I think that the way we try to make decisions is we try to really think about them, but I will say we don't always have the capacity or the time or the margin to really talk through them in a detailed way without any additional noise. And so this space allows for us to use time with you all, as well as between the two of us, to have conversations that maybe we would hope to have
normally we have them in the car.
Yeah, in the car as we travel, or before you go to bed. But usually these types of things are fleshed out over dinner, or when we're trying to spread our time between our kids or other priorities that we have in our lives. And so this will be a way for us to try to think through some of those details. And so, yeah, we're just hoping to invite you guys into our lives a little bit.
All right, so this video, let's just recap like the past week. I'm sure other videos will probably dive back into why we got started. Unless you want to do that this video. Like, do we want to get that deep?
No, I think we can talk about this week, and then we can go back a little bit, because I think this week was really, really crazy for us.
Yeah. This was a big week. So let's just talk about so we're starting up some small businesses. Let's talk about those. Let's talk about the big accomplishment that our kids had this week.
Mm-hmm.
And then our plans for tomorrow with Easter.
Well, I think we can start first with saying that this week was crazy because it was like a crossover week. So we're in the middle of finishing a few things up and then starting a few new things with the seasons as far as like sports and activities go. So this week was a week where we're still finishing up a few things. We can talk more about those, but we're currently in the process of becoming licensed for foster care here in the state of Missouri. So we have a training that we participate in on Monday nights, and that tends to throw some chaos into our schedule because it happens from 6 to 9 p.m.
Which, if anyone from foster care is watching this and has any control over not scheduling those meetings from 6 to 9 p.m., you should change that for people with children.
So I guess as well, we both work full time. So we are working from 8 to 5 and then, completing all the extracurriculars after the fact or after the work day's finished up. So that looks like both kids were in school this week. We had the foster care training. We have soccer season going on for Augie, as well as baseball season starting up. And so lots of practices.
Well, let's just talk about that. So Augie right now, and I don't think this is something that we intentionally did or we'll probably do again if we can help it, but Augie right now is practicing baseball on Monday nights and Wednesday nights. And then he has soccer practice on Wednesday nights. And then he has soccer games on Saturdays. And when you mix all that together, just one kiddo, that's a lot of chaos. It's a lot of late nights.
Yeah, and soccer was supposed to start. A couple of the games got canceled, and so it's going to extend the season. It's going to overlap even more than we had expected with baseball. So that obviously creates a lot more stress on our schedules, and we are in control of those things, but we wanted to give him some exposure to both sports. And
at the age of 6, it's really hard to say, hey, you need to pick a sport and focus on it. Like, he doesn't know what he likes yet, really. He doesn't even know what he's good at.
Yeah, and some families take the approach of one sport at a time, and I completely appreciate that. One sport or one activity for each kid. But this one, we did overlap on this specific activity. And so we've got on the list so far foster care, soccer, baseball. Kids also are finishing up swimming lessons that we started back in January.
And so with those swimming lessons, we definitely did ISR, which I don't remember what it stands for. Infant
Swim and Rescue.
Something like that. But basically, it's teaching them life skills of how to survive if they were to unexpectedly find themselves in a body of water. So we'll share some videos on that, but it has been a really cool process to watch. It has been time consuming. It has been a commitment. It's not always been fun, but our kids have enjoyed it for the most part. And it's been really cool just to see how well they have progressed. Not only in swimming, but like Augie's confidence has skyrocketed with what he feels he's capable of doing, at least in the water. So.
Yeah, the ISR swim lessons, it's a 6-week course, and you go 10 minutes every day, 5 days a week. So it's a big commitment as far as a scheduling commitment, because you're doing it every day. It is only 10 minutes, but when you add in the prep time as well as driving.
Also, you're not supposed to eat. Is it like an hour beforehand? It's some specified time, which we may or may not have always followed. And so that adds additional worry, at least when you're following that. not to eat above, and then you gotta drive to the place, have their swimsuits on, swim for 10 minutes each kid, so that's 20 minutes total for us with 2 kids, and then fight the 3-year-old to put her pants back on after the swim lesson, which is sometimes an additional 30 minutes, and then drive home and feed them, and then get them in the bath and ready for bed. And so our swim lessons were scheduled for the first slot at 5:50 for one and then 6 for the other, but that's still pretty late for kiddos who are used to going to bed around 7 by the time you get home and get them fed. But like I said, well worth it. And I think that it's given us more confidence in, while we travel a lot and we're around a lot of water. And this just gives us confidence that our kiddos have the skill set to survive. And we also had an incident in Hawaii that kind of opened our eyes to how much we didn't know about water safety.
Mm-hmm.
You want to talk about that, or you want to skip over that horror moment?
No, there was just a time, and we'll talk more about our time in Hawaii, but we just gotten to Kauai, and we were visiting one of the pools that we had access to, and kind of let my guard down with Augie and let him go and get into the pool, which was like pretty far away from where we were sitting. So he walked down the steps to get into the pool. But we
were used to having life jackets on, and he just, nobody thought about it. His life jacket was sitting there by a chair, and he just walked over down the steps and into the pool.
Yep, and he went under for a couple seconds, and
quite a few seconds.
Yeah.
His little hat was just like bobbing under the water when I saw him and started running to them.
So you can never be too careful around water, obviously, and we have some pretty strict rules for ourselves, especially after that happened. But the opportunity came up. Kate had been looking for ISR in our area for a little while, and it's a pretty big financial commitment as well. But when we think about the skills that our kids have developed in the short period of time, it's well worth the money.
Also, I think if you have the means, like there's no amount of money that parents wouldn't pay to keep their kids safe. And if this is one way to guarantee it, then with the means, like financially being responsible, then I don't see a reason not to spend the money on it.
Ready, set, go. Good job. Good girl. Nice. Yeah.
Our kids are so much more confident, both of them. Augie was so scared to start whenever
he didn't even want to go. Like I brought up the idea at dinner to Bryson, and he was like already getting anxious about having to swim. At that point, he didn't know that they were like going to be doing flips in the water and have to come back to the surface. He just did not even want to put his face in. And that's what he was scared about. And now he's a fish.
Yeah, but thankfully, after like the first couple lessons, the kids wanted to go back every time. They kind of fought for who got to go first. And so it really, really changed their perspective on swimming. And that's been amazing because we want them to be comfortable in the water. We both enjoy the water quite a bit. I do, for sure.
I don't really like to get my face wet, but I will if I have to.
Yeah, so
I'm more of a on the beach, not in the water.
So we had ISR as well this whole week. Both kids go to school, but Augie is in a homeschool program. Kate had to go to work to the office on Tuesday.
It's not common. Normally we're fully remote, but I did have to go in this week, which wasn't terrible, but I'm way less productive in the office.
So since the pandemic, our jobs have been more or less remote. So that's given us an amazing opportunity to really have a lot of time at home together.
We could do like a whole video on how that's benefited our life.
Oh, for sure. We will do a whole video.
Like if you want to know about remote work and having your children, we are the people to talk to. Is it easy? No. Does it suck? Yes. Is it worth it? Yes.
Probably quick updates.
I hope you enjoy the show.
Sufficient
Bye.
information for the most part at this point.
The work show. I hope you enjoy it. Bye.
I don't think it's just even the remote work. It's the entire change in lifestyle that we've had, because we used to both go to the office every day, or it changed whenever we had Augie for Kate, but not for me as much. And so that's just been a complete shift of the way we approach our family and our lives, and it's been so amazing.
I think we've had a lot of role models in that too, because at the beginning of COVID, when you were home and I was home, and nobody was really working because we were all just stressed out about what we thought was going to be like the end of the world. We didn't know what we were doing. Like, we actually didn't like it. We didn't know how to work together. We didn't know how to achieve a common goal. And I think we really turned to, I feel like, social media and books, like Christian influencers, to try and guide us out of that spot that we were in. Ultimately, we'll tell you the story later, but we found ourselves in Hawaii, and that just blew up our entire lives, basically. Like,
Yeah.
Nothing is the same.
You got it?
Hi, we're at the falls. You want to see where we're at? Ready?
The Wailua Falls. Watch out. Oh, okay. We hiked down a big path. It was, that's like 180 feet, right? Up? 170? We did it while, hold on, stop, while holding Eloise. Say hi, Shaka. She's giving us Shaka. You got some water on this screen, but that's okay. Here, are you gonna say bye?
Bye.
We're gonna go see if we can do a little swim, right?
Yeah.
All right, cool, good work. That was a Waibel team win right there. And we worked together, didn't we?
Yeah.
Nice.
Well, that's definitely where we developed our team mentality as a family team, or a Waibel team is what we call ourselves. And so, so that was something that threw a little bit of a wrench into the week. We also, let's see, what else? We've started a couple of businesses.
Part of that family team mentality is that we want to have something like a common goal that we're working toward as a family. Want to be able to teach our kids business principles that we actually are learning at the same time. And then I think there's also just the financial freedom that you can get from many businesses. Like, not just relying on my 8-to-5 job to pay the bills. If I have extra little side gigs, maybe big gigs eventually, that helps to support our family.
Yeah, so we're really excited about the opportunity to be trying these new things.
Are we good at it?
I don't feel super
I don't think
successful.
so.
But well, the goal is to, well, we want to keep our jobs currently, and so we're still able
have
to
a ton of pressure to perform. But I think that keeping our jobs is sometimes a hindrance too, because of the time, and that we don't have the pressure to go out there and give it our all every day on these like entrepreneurship businesses that we're starting, because we do have the stability in our 8-to-5 jobs, and then also the need to perform for those still. And by the end of the day, we're pooped.
Yeah. So Kate has a bakery. Our family has a bakery, but Kate is the
one that does the work.
Yeah.
So I just thinking of ways that I felt called, I guess, or my skill set. I started a Love Mall bakery, and the name comes from my grandma. She taught me how to bake a lot of things, but primarily cakes and cookies. And I'm just doing it as a way to kind of honor her memory and share the gifts that she was able to provide to the world during her time here, that maybe I can help continue for her, kind of her legacy.
Yeah, and there's secret ingredients. So
they're not that secret, but I'm not going to share them either.
But the product is very good, and so we're just excited that actually Kate's mom had her make some cookies for her job, and then got a couple of customers from that. So that was pretty cool, pretty special.
That was my first customer. Well, I guess my mom was technically my first customer, but I don't think that counts. So her co-workers, other nurses, were the first customer, and we got to do that this week, which was a little bit of a learning curve, I guess. Not making the cookies, but actually having to make them for someone else, and like kind of the pressure on that, and then the boxing and the making it look pretty to go, and I don't know, late nights.
Yeah. And then for the last year, we have been pulling our camper around different places and seeing what it's like to explore the country with our camper. We obviously have a normal house, but we take a couple of weeks at a time and go on road trips. And so with that, we've learned that there are some opportunities for, there was an opportunity for a business. We both work as consultants, and so we talk a lot to people, and we talk a lot about how to solve problems and how to strategically navigate certain situations. So we had a problem when we bought our camper where we couldn't figure out the towing capacity of our current truck or our tow vehicle. So what we've done is we've learned how to calculate towing capacities, and we've created a consultation business called Waibels Team Towing, where we try to find people that are uncertain of how to do those calculations, and we give them a towing report and a consultation. So this week was the first meeting that we had with someone that actually bought our services, and it was exciting. And just like,
I was putting the kids to sleep and he ran into their room like, Kate, we got our first sale. I'm pretty sure Eloise started after that, but it was exciting. I mean, we've only had one and we've been at this a long time. It kind of makes it a little bit nerve-wracking, I think, for the first consultation call that we had that was actually getting paid for, but it went well, I think. I was at work when he was doing it, but
yeah, I think it went well. It was like as you were driving home from work. So I think it was well received, and really excited to see, like we said, there's no pressure to perform. We're just taking skills that we already have and trying to help other people solve a problem that we felt was a major problem, and then see where that leads us to. And we'd love to, we'll spend time in future videos talking more about our camping adventures, and we love sharing different places with people, especially people we love, but then also love sharing it on social media with followers. So it's just really fun to have gone on that journey and then continue it with our family. And it's so fun to see our kids they miss when we're not camping. And so we all miss when we're not camping.
there's a certain like freedom or like I don't know exactly what it is, but it's like certain camping mindset that you kind of go into. You have a camper, you got a few pairs of clothes, and you're just in a new place out of your comfort zone, but yet you're totally at peace. And I think that's what we love so much about camping. And our kids feel it too. This time, like before we were going on this trip, Eloise was so excited to go camping. And then our last night, what were her exact words? Something about not wanting to go home.
Yeah, she didn't want to come home. It is nice to come home. We don't have a massive house, but it definitely feels massive when you
step out of the camper.
Come back to it
for 3 weeks.
Yeah, we have a 27-foot camper, so it's just the right size for our family of 4. And yeah, but we're excited about Waibels Team Towing.
I think the other thing about Waibels Team Towing, though, is like we don't know anything about business. We really haven't had people in our families that have started businesses or been able to share those insights with us. So like we're gaining a ton of knowledge on just how to start an LLC, how to open a business bank account, like what does that look like and what does it mean? There's still a lot of questions, but we've at least gotten our toes wet now. So.
Yeah, and if it doesn't work out, we've at least learned a lot, and we're hopeful that the skills that we're developing can translate into something else. And truly, this year we have been asking for direction. So like we've mentioned a couple of times, we're people of faith, we believe in God, and we're so thankful for this time of year being Easter and recognizing our risen Savior Jesus. Tomorrow is Shabbat night, Saturday night, but we will celebrate Easter tomorrow morning with our church family here. And so we've just been praying and asking God for some direction in our lives. And there's been a couple of really sad things that have happened so far in 2023, but we're hopeful that what God's doing is providing us direction and providing us opportunity to really even be closer with our family members through these sad experiences. We have Easter celebrations to do tomorrow, and we always, Kate, for the last few years, has always made cinnamon rolls.
But they're currently not rising. But I think that's really it, all that we want to share this week. We're going to try and do this on a weekly basis, just kind of rehash things. If we have a slower week, which hopefully we will eventually, we'll probably throw it back to like, I don't know, pandemic times when we started working remotely, and then take you into Hawaii, and then take you back into how we started camping. I don't know. That's probably our trajectory. I don't think we need to go much farther than that, because that's really like the time in our lives where things kind of went from, I think, like societal expectations and everyday norm to flipped on their head, and where we're at now, and hopefully where we're going in the future.
Yeah, for sure. We do things a little bit differently than some people, but hopefully you find them insightful.
How do you want to sign off?
Yeah, thanks everybody for watching. Nice to meet you.
We're not meeting them.
Nice to talk while you watch us talk.
Nice to talk at you. Talk to you next week. Or talk at you next week. Bye.
Bye, everybody.